Once upon a time, in a small village nestled among rolling hills and lush green fields, there lived a young boy named Jack with his mother. They were very poor, with nothing but a tiny cottage and an old, weary cow named Bessie. One morning, Jack's mother woke up to find Bessie could no longer give milk. With heavy hearts, they knew they had no choice but to sell Bessie so they could buy food. Jack's mother asked him to take Bessie to the market and sell her for a good price. With a promise to do his best, Jack led Bessie down the winding path to the market. The sun was shining, birds were singing, and Jack felt a little adventure might not be so bad. But as they walked, they met a peculiar old man with twinkling eyes and a mysterious smile.
"Where are you off to on this bright morning with such a fine cow?"
asked the old man.
"To the market to sell Bessie, for we have nothing left to eat,"
Jack replied, trying to sound braver than he felt.
"I'll tell you what,"
said the old man, leaning in as if to share a secret.
"I have something far more valuable than money. Magic beans."
He opened his hand to reveal 5 shimmering, speckled beans.
"Magic beans?"
Jack's eyes widened with curiosity.
"Indeed. Plant them by moonlight, and by morning you'll see something amazing."
The old man promised with a wink. Jack was torn. His mother had asked for money, not magic, but the glint in the old man's eye and the promise of adventure was too tempting. With a hopeful heart, Jack traded Bessie for the beans and hurried home, excited to share the news. As he burst through the door, he cried,
"Mother, look! I've traded Bessie for these magic beans!"
But his mother was not pleased.
Magic beans? We needed money for food, not beans.
She exclaimed in dismay. In her frustration, she threw the beans out the window and sent Jack to bed without supper. That night, Jack lay in bed, hungry and sad, regretting his choice. But as he drifted off to sleep, he dreamt of adventures and magical lands far beyond his little cottage. The next morning, Jack awoke to find his room bathed in a strange green light. Rubbing his eyes, he looked out the window and gasped. A gigantic beanstalk, thick and winding, stretched up into the sky, disappearing into the clouds. The magic beans had worked. Without a second thought, Jack dashed outside and began to climb the beanstalk. Higher and higher he climbed, past birds and clouds, until at last he reached the top. There, to his amazement, lay a land of giants. Jack tiptoed along a wide path, marveling at the huge flowers and enormous trees, until he came upon a massive castle. His stomach rumbled with hunger, reminding him of his mission for food. Summoning all his courage, Jack approached the castle and slipped inside. The castle was vast and eerily quiet. He wandered through grand halls and oversized rooms until he found a colossal kitchen. On the table lay a feast fit for a giant, with loaves of bread the size of logs and cheese as big as boulders. As Jack was about to grab a piece of bread, he heard a booming voice that shook the very walls of the castle.
"Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread."
Terrified, Jack hid inside a giant kettle just as a huge giant stomped into the kitchen. The giant sniffed around, his eyes scanning the room, but eventually, convinced he was alone, he settled down in an enormous chair. Jack watched in awe as the giant pulled out a golden hen and a golden harp.
"Lay,"
he commanded the hen, and it laid a golden egg.
"Play,"
he told the harp, and it began to play a beautiful melody on its own. Jack's mind raced with excitement.
"If I could take these back with me, we'd never be poor again,"
he thought. But he knew he had to be careful, for the giant was not someone to be trifled with. As the giant dozed off, lulled by the music of the harp, Jack seized his chance. He crept out from his hiding place, grabbed the hen, and made a run for it. But as he reached the door, his heart pounding with fear and excitement, the hen squawked loudly, awakening the giant.
Thief! Robber!
Bellowed the giant, but Jack was already sprinting down the path, the hen tucked under his arm. He reached the beanstalk and began to descend as fast as his legs could carry him, the giant's roars echoing in his ears. As the giant chased after him, Jack raced down the beanstalk, the ground rapidly approaching. With the giant's thunderous footsteps shaking the beanstalk, Jack called out to his mother.
Fetch an axe, quick!
No sooner had Jack touched the ground than he grabbed the axe from his mother and began to chop down the beanstalk with all his might. The beanstalk shuddered and swayed under the force of his blows. Up above, the giant roared in rage and fear as he felt the beanstalk tremble. With a final mighty chop, the beanstalk gave way, sweeping the giant off his feet and hurling him towards the earth. Down the giant fell not onto the land, but into the swift, churning river that ran beside Jack's farmhouse. The strong currents caught the giant, sweeping him away, far from Jack's home, never to be seen in those parts again. Jack and his mother watched in astonishment, a sigh of relief escaping their lips as they realized they were safe. Breathless and exhilarated, Jack hugged his mother. From that day forward, the magic beans were remembered not just for the beanstalk they grew or the giant they brought down, but for the fortune and adventure they brought into Jack's life. As for the golden hen, it continued to lay golden eggs, ensuring that Jack and his mother never wanted for anything again. And Jack, the boy who once traded his cow for a handful of magic beans, became a legend in his own right, his name forever linked with tales of adventure. His story stood as a testament to the idea that in the most unlikely of circumstances, wit and resourcefulness can lead to extraordinary outcomes. The end.